The idea was so Charlie, what time roughly am I like to go?
You are on after Amanda at about 10:06.
At 10:06?
Yeah, is that too late?
No, that's fine. It's just a bit of an extension.
Yeah, what kind of extension are you?
Just right. If you're happy, I'll wander in and just got my
Yeah.
rather than making them sit.
It won't. It probably won't be earlier than 6:10.
Yeah, that's fine. That's an idea.
We want it probably at 2.
Yeah, if not, we can always have a daisy chain more together. Where are you? Do you need to? I don't really want the vending machine in. Yeah, make sure you've signed in and you've got 2 stickers. We have 2 stickers this time because there's the CS252 competition. So you should have a small sticker and a large sticker, nothing in between. There are different small stick time. So make sure you've got 2 stickers and vote later. Remember, there's a chance to win an Arduino Young as well. That's one of the basics. So, yeah, sign in. Yeah.
Upstairs and see if I can get my stuff on a stick.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, no, Amanda's here. I'll ask Amanda tomorrow at lunchtime. No, I need to get on the stick.
But we'll start in a couple of minutes. If you haven't signed in, sign in. You should have 2 stickers this time, a small one and a big one, unless you run out of small ones, in which case you'll have 2 big ones, but there'll be different kinds of big ones. There'll be Google Plus, and Google Plus put the symbol as circles instead of the G Plus symbol. So it's fairly straightforward, sort of. Maybe we'll start in about 5 minutes, hopefully. So yeah, everyone get signed in, get comfortable, and we'll start.
Well, one team is winning. I'll get it.
Which the reply was, I actually think that's too much. Yes, but it never goes from no, it's a second thing, that sense. What is the simplest thing you can do for us to
I've tried. And now it's
or give a complete PDF and I can't
But I'm going to explain the stickers just to make sure everyone understands. So I hope it sounds condescending. There are three types of stickers. There's the normal small stickers that we have every time. These are actually the leftovers, so I think there's 4 or 5 different kinds of stickers. The important thing is they're small. So these stickers are for voting for generally what you think was the most interesting thing. Could be a person, could be a project, whatever, that you saw, and whoever or whatever you think deserves to win the Arduino Yun. The Arduino Yun, if we have it. Okay, oh, it's there. This is an Arduino Yun. It's Wi-Fi and I think it's got a USB host port and fancy stuff. So it's quite nice. It's one of the nicer Arduinos. So that's the prize to be won with the small stickers. Unfortunately, we have run out of small stickers, so you may get one of these black Google Plus stickers. So these and the small stickers are the same thing. Then parallel to that, there's the CS252 Web Programming Games competition, which is over there, the Mac laptop things, whatever the fancy white laptop's called. And the voting for that is another Google Plus sticker, but it's circles on a white background. I don't know which way up it goes. It's that one. So, like that, yeah. So these are the 2 types of sticker. So these ones are for the Arduino, these ones are for the CS252 competition. Okay, so that's stickers. I have to give these back, I'll be in trouble. So Hannah was supposed to go first, but she's just copying some files over, so we'll give her a couple of minutes. I'll bore you for a moment, and then the Sailbot team will come and talk to you about Sailbot. Is that okay? Yeah. If you haven't noticed, there's food and drink there. Pizza will come at about 5:30, 4 to 6 when we break and drink and look around and stuff. So make sure you don't go before then, and obviously stay afterwards. Make sure you've signed in if you haven't already, and make sure you get the right stickers, which if I haven't explained, there's 2 types of stickers, although some of them are large, even though they're all the first type. Okay, so I'm going to bore you. I'm one of the people who's doing the amateur radio licensing course. Hopefully we'll pass this weekend, maybe. Which is quite exciting. I got this quite a while ago, actually, because it's quite nice. After we did the basic Morse test, we had type Morse, I think it's some very slow speed, like 3 words per minute. I just thought I'd show this off. It's a very nice Morse key. It's an old Soviet one. This is about 40 years old, and it's got nice action. I don't know if you can hear that. It's nice action there. And the reason I got this is I want to connect it to this, which is a nice ammo crate, quite heavy, quite robust though. Here, I have this, which I haven't built yet, which is a Fox 3 CW transceiver, very nice, lightweight, low power, shortwave transceiver. So what I want to do is have some kind of dipole antenna, which is basically a couple of wires joined in the middle, and then hung up a bit like tent guy lines. To power the whole thing, I've got these. This is a big battery, very nice. That should last for a few days with the shortwave transmitter, and this, which is a hand crank charger. And what's really nice is, apart from the transceiver, it's all military surplus and quite cheap and fun and easy to access. So I just thought I'd mention that whilst I stall. If you're interested, you can come and ask me and have a look. If anyone is interested in building one of these transceivers, I'd love to talk to you because no one else seems to be, but I'm quite into it. Although there are legal issues we're not sure about, because you're allowed to build certain kinds of kits as long as they conform to this and that, but how they conform or not is sort of highly subjective and open to interpretation. Okay, so I'll stop boring you and I'll let Sailbolt come and tell you about Sailbolt. I have one more boring thing. I have, which has been concealed. Oh, sorry, Sailbolt. Hannah's arrived, so can we go with Hannah? I have set up. I've been playing about with an Arduino camera using the CCTV, so I've set up a time-lapse, not Arduino, Raspberry Pi camera. So I'll publish that afterwards. It's not very high resolution, but if you are worried about peering in it, let me know.
What's the interval?
And sorry?
What's the interval?
1 second. So it's fairly good. Yeah, we're not quite sure. It's probably pointing at my back, so we'll see. Anyway, I'll let Hannah tell you about the CS252 games.
Hello. As some of you know, because you've been in my module, I do a best game contest. And because of things like the seafront washing away and everything going wrong and lectures being cancelled and apocalypse coming to Aberystwyth, we had to put things back and put things back. So we weren't able to do the best game contest in the lecture, which is what we usually do. So we're going to do it today. I've got them on a stick, and I'm going to put them on some laptops which I've borrowed from Software Alliance Wales. We very kindly lent me 4 Macintoshes. I know nothing about Macintoshes, and none of them have internet. So it's going well. Anyway, they're big stickers for the 252 game contest. If you've played them already, have a go, come along and vote. If you haven't played them already, you can play them again. I've got 5 pieces of paper with 10 games on, stuck above my 4 currently non-functioning Macintosh laptops. So if you wanted to vote, stick your sticker next to they're half functioning, but Colin's on the case. If Colin's on the case, everything's going to be fine. Anyway, come and play some games and vote your favourite one. These are all second year course works from a 10 credit module, so it's really nice to see such creative work being done by our excellent students. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, if you want to
use the laptop?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, it's something.
Easy.
What's the name?
No! Show and tell.
Yeah, show and tell, yeah.
This is it now. It's a very slow computer. Sorry, it's not very good for presentation. You can shout to the mic.
Okay. Does someone have to click it?
Yeah. So,
A volunteer?
I'll volunteer to be the picker.
Alright.
Hello. Microphone. Hello. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shut it!
So we've been building. So we've been building an autonomous sailing boat to compete in the Micro Transat, which is a race across the Atlantic Ocean under 2 meters, isn't it? Yeah. Under 2 meters. So the start line is here, and the finish line is in the Caribbean, and hopefully we'll be sailing that September. Next slide. So this is our core team. We have missed some people because we had a lot of people to start working with, and they disappeared, and then some keep coming back. So we kind of lose track of everyone. But these are the people, the core team, you know.
Our boat so far, we've got most of the hardware done. It looks like, well, I say most, but you'll see what we've got there. But the core stuff that actually needs to sail. So at the moment, we're based on an Arduino Uno. Then we've got a robot, which is a type of ultrasonic wind sensor, which is quite expensive, but it won't break too easily. We've got a compass, GPS, 2 servos, one of which Dan has stolen, back there, standing next to the yellow boat, which is quite annoying. Otherwise, we would have had everything moving today, but it's all their fault. So if you'd like to give your stickers to us instead of them. And an SD logger, which is what we use to make sure that everything's worked and tell us what's been going on while we're on the water, because we don't have any telemetry coming back at the moment. So what's left to do? Mostly the telemetry stuff, so getting more information back. So we've got a GSM modem, which uses a mobile networks to send data. So it can basically get photos textless. We've got a satellite modem, which works in pretty much the same way, except it's a lot more expensive and it works pretty much anywhere as long as you've got satellite coverage. We need to write some decent software. That's been really neglected so far, but now we've got the hardware done, it's there. And power supply management, because we're going across the Atlantic, we can't really recharge anywhere, we can't just plug in. So we've got a set of solar panels waiting to go together, and we need to get a pretty hefty battery charger working with them. So, is that me? Oh yeah, we've got our repository, so you can have a look at what we've got so far. It's not brilliant, but it's going to improve soon. Yeah.
Okay, so this is our first voyage. We actually went to a lake. I don't know how far away it is from here. It's like quite a bit. It's a bad journey away, but we tested it, and it went okay, not well, but it sort of floated sideways for a bit because the wind was so heavy and the actual sail was so heavy, but for the most part it works. And we have a video at the very end of the presentation to show you how it works, and basically it sort of floats and works quite well.
So, do that one. Alright, so basically we tried the second attempt, which we tried in the harbour. We were kind of not wanting to do it in the harbour because of salt water, but then we said, alright, we'll do it. And if you see, we have a Lego man over there. He's like our mascot, which kind of, if you want to have a look after the presentation, as we were saving him, Colin kind of kicked him off. So half his body's off, half his body's staying. He's lost in the sea right now. So we're trying to get a replacement, but he's going to stay on the whole time. Just because that's Colin trying to save him. It was quite a good sail, to be honest. It wasn't too much wind, but with the wind we had, it sailed quite good. And that's kind of how the electronics look like after we recovered it.
Right. So what went wrong with that was our rudder servo failed on us. So
That's been the main issue we've had so far. And this is a GPS trace of where we've been. So you can kind of see where Colin has saved us a little bit. We will split around. And yeah, this is our video.
Does that sound
It was a little bit windy that day. Yeah, any questions?
How long do you think it's going to take to sail across the Atlantic?
We think about 3 months. Not entirely sure though. We're just gonna wait and see. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Arduino and C++. Okay, thank you very much.
Colin's next. You know you're next. You wanted a YouTube video, didn't you?
basically that can do that.
You see it like that?
Yeah, it's
The thing is, the projector's not going to move, so I'll just
No.
that's why I didn't pass it.
It's preloaded video. So that's really loading quick.
Can you just load up? Sorry, so I can see. Just,
I need to be able to press there.
yeah. That'll,
You can't my head
I'll
up.
just point
Or
it.
you point at the screen.
Yeah.
So if I stand here,
What's the password for your phone's Wi-Fi?
robotics, gumsticks, capital R, capital G, gumsticks is X.
You asked for
It doesn't really matter. I'll change it after this.
Everyone ready? Okay, I'm Colin Sesame. I'm a postdoctoral researcher, I think. I keep changing job contracts in the department. And I just want to talk about the idea of having an avarice with hackerspace. Anyone's hoping. So I'm just going to talk about briefly what one is, why I think we need one in Mapper, what's already been done towards this, because this isn't the first time this idea's come up, how we might actually pay for it, how we might organise and run it, where we can have it, and how you can actually help and get involved. So the Wikipedia definition of hackerspace is also referring to a hack lab, makerspace, or hackspace, and is a community-operated physical space where people with common interests, often in computers, technology, science, socialise and or collaborate. Now hopefully that covers the majority of you here today. Yes? No? It's a physical space, it's not just a virtual thing, and it's a place where you might actually have some useful tools and equipment for people to work on electronics projects, digital art projects, things like drills, lathes, soldering irons, oscilloscopes, 3D printers, maybe bits of random electronics, possibly even sewing machines and other things going towards the sort of craft end. You might have a working space, you can put down laptops, you probably have some free Wi-Fi, and some nice sort of relaxing hangout space. So just a quick video talk from one here in the Netherlands. I only picked this one as a short video.
Yeah, there's no speakers. You could hold full screen it.
So why do I think we need one in avarice with? Well, we seem to just generally have a growing number of people who want to hack things, make things, do things with electronics, maybe even repair things like phones and laptops that are broken. And quite often people don't actually have all the facilities to do so. Things as simple as a Torx under 6 screwdriver, there are soldering iron and an oscilloscope, or maybe some bigger equipment like a CNC machine or a lathe or something that you probably can't fit, especially in a student bedroom. It's not just intended for students either. This is something that we can do for all age groups. So there's a lot of kids actually coming to a weekly club in university right now where they're building robots on their own. They only get about 2 hours a week to do this. And I'm sure quite a few of them are actually quite keen to attend something like a hackspace where they can spend more time working on their projects. At the other end of the scale, I'm sure there's actually quite a few engineering who might be quite interested in seeing something like this. And they've got free time to actually come attend it. And then maybe plenty of people also at working age who have projects in their spare time they want to work on, but they don't have room in their house for the equipment or can't afford that equipment. So I see it's quite a way of bringing together people of young, sort of pre-university age, university students, and local population. And it's a nice new way to learn new skills. If you want to learn how to use a lathe or something, if there's someone around who can tell you how to use it and show you how to use it on a hackspace one, then it's a great learning opportunity. Maybe this could even help kickstart some actual local high-tech industry, which we seem to be sort of lacking in Aber, and that's all our graduates seem to have to disappear elsewhere, despite a fair number wanting to hang on in this area. So who might be interested interested in doing this? Well, hopefully, I think most of you are probably comp sci students or impact students, but there are also quite a few other university departments who might be interested. There's a lot of people in geography who are departments who want to build things for creative purposes, but actually need some of these sort of facilities. As I said, the school children, there's also quite an active group of home educators in this county, and some of them are very into technology subjects, so they might be interested in turning up. I know the scouts and guides have merit badges relating to things like any artists and musicians, aircraft group, the people from that might also be interested. And basically anyone who's interested in taking things apart, repurposing them, learning how they work, and building other things from them, and merging together things and making them do things that the manufacturer never intended. So, here by one of our graduates, Matthew Keegan, and he wrote to the then head of computer science, Chang Shen, and asked for permission to set one up within the university. Now we already have a room in the digital systems lab in the physics building. They group have been hanging out and they have a transat and about 4 dissertation students. It's always really, really overcrowded. And this space it's been up to 8, 9, 10 and it's far too crowded there. So the idea of getting more people in there to do in-person projects is really pushing it. But the lab already has soldering irons, a 3D printer, tier 6 at welcome, PCB milling machine, loads of computers, oscilloscopes. Loads of electronic components and things, loads of things people have actually put in there deliberately for being salvaged. There's a lathe, there's, as of today, a brand new belt sander, but it's a tiny space. The priority is for research projects, but it's tolerated that some personal projects come in there, but clearly we can't invite the entire local community to come in there and start building their own projects. So it'd be really nice if we had somewhere that everyone could come together with a much bigger space. There's also no Wi-Fi coverage in there, much to the frustration of everyone who works in there. So you often see students sat out in the corridor with their laptops trying to get on the internet, and there's only 2 PCs that are available to use. So if we do go ahead and have an average of hackspace, the first question is how do we pay for it? And most hackerspaces actually do some kind of monthly donation model, and a lot go for a pay what you can afford. So if you're a student and you really don't have any money, then maybe you put in £1 a month. If you're a lecturer and you have a bit more money, maybe you put in £10 a month. If you're really a regular member and turning up every day, maybe you put in £50 a month. But maybe occasionally you get a nice benefactor who leaves you £1,000 or something. There might also be some community grants available. I'm not sure if this would quite qualify for some of those. I think something like lottery funding, but it might do if it's spun the right way, it's possible. There's also a possibility of running direct fundraising events and actually having the public come in for sort of show and tell type evenings even. And I do wonder if the BCS might be interested in linking up with this idea. And some hackerspaces have actually also designed and built circuits that they then sell online. Particularly the London hackerspace has been known for doing this and actually sells some modified Arduino kits with radio modules on them for a small profit, which they then use to help fund the hackerspace. There's also a question of how is it structured, how is it run? What do you have to do to become a member? Do you have any physical restrictions on access? A lot of them, as you saw in that video, actually have an RFID reader on the door, so only people with a valid RFID card can come in. Another problem we've had with students in the lab is that they're not supposed to be there beyond the time the lab shuts at 6 in the evening, and would really like to be in there all evening and all weekend if they can be. So somewhere where restriction is not, access is not restricted and people can come in any time of day would be nice. But obviously you don't want anyone walking in off the street, possibly drunk, trying to use power tools in the middle of the night, or trying to walk off with them all. This is a question of, is it actually run as a for-profit company? Is it a non-profit or is it a charity? I know if it's structured as a charity, there's actually a lot more administrative hoops to jump through, but it may increase the chance of getting donations. And then there's also the question of insurance. If you've got lots of big dangerous machines around, you probably do need liability insurance. You need insurance against fires. There was a hackerspace recently called High Voltage Labs, who, as the name suggests, specialise in high voltage things. And they're now on their 3rd major fire, which has just gutted their lab. I'd love to know what their insurance bill is. So obviously some attention needs to be paid to how do you mitigate those kind of risks, who's going to insure you, and how much does it cost? And the fun thing is, where would it go? Now, quite a few empty shops, and I don't know how much it costs to rent them, but that's certainly a possibility. There's also a few empty units on the science park, and there's a couple in the industrial estate right now, but I thought that's a bit far out of town. I'm not sure if that's viable and how much money would need to be raised for that. And often the hacker space is fine. Very small space is effectively a spare room in a building can grow to take over entire buildings. If you'd like to get involved and help out, I've just created a Facebook group at facebook.com. It's on the show and tell page as well. So if anyone wants to join in, pitch ideas at the moment, this is, please come and do so. If you're interested more about how other hackerspaces have been formed, then the website hackerspaces.org has a huge amount of information, which will only just scratch the surface of reading. So if anyone else wants to read that in more detail and submit an idea, very well. Anyone wants to join? Good. Well, mostly the usual suspects. Interesting one.
Because the university is sort of just opening that up as a community hub, whatever that is. There were rooms in there that used to be that.
Yeah. I just always imagine they want it to look pristine and don't want it full of machinery and things that might catch fire.
Yeah. They use it for school.
Yes, I know.
But yeah.
Well, there's some basement rooms that
Yeah.
probably suitable.
I also noticed people in my notes who owns the science park.
Yeah, there was a guy from Apple Instruments who came to a tech camp thing once, and he seemed quite keen on setting up these guys. I don't know if he had any more great ideas.
Okay, we'll break now for food and drink. Pizza comes in a bit. We have learned from previous experience to stagger the pizza, so that is coming, but not immediately. But there's lots of snacks, there's lots of drink, and after that we're going to have another couple of talks from Amanda and from Mark. So have a walk around, choose projects you like, ask questions, take a look, play the games as well. One other thing I should mention is that Sam kindly gave us some Google Plus swag, which you probably will have noticed by now. There are some t-shirts and things if you haven't had one already. So thanks to Sam, wherever he is, for that.
And the whole point was quite
If you haven't seen or smelt it yet, the pizza has arrived.
Yeah, no.
Oh, actually, you did tell me that, yeah.
Something very subtle as well. But it still fit. Yeah, I think it's going to, the other one's going to come off as well.
Don't forget while you're going around to consider who you're going to vote for. We will have another break after the next set of presentations for you to vote in.
You're now. You're half in it now.
Go through it, Phil. Ready? Not that past the time. Okay, why?
Squeeze it back in. It seems
Okay.
Right, okay, we're going to start up again in a couple of minutes. Just a reminder, if you haven't signed in, make sure you signed in. Get your stickers to something large, that's still different from the other large. Followed by Amanda, and then we'll break again, have a look at a few more things, and then you can cast your vote on the most deserving project or person of the Arduino prize and the CS252 competition as well. So I'll let Mark go now.
You don't have to, but it helps.
Hello. Oh. I hate microphones. Shut up! Please. My usual approach in lectures sometimes works. Okay, I'm Mark Neal. I'll be very quick because that's what we're supposed to do, isn't it? I bat about with some lasers and microphones and stuff and a heart. And this is a heart, in case you didn't know what one looks like. That's Sophie. She and I made the heart together for that. So, the planar stream It's pretty horrible heart, isn't it? To pick up the sound that the heart was making and light up the string that you just plucked that were harmonic with that, some chords and stuff like that. And I finally got around to trying it a couple of months ago. And I ended up building this fantastic piece of engineering here, which is a couple of bits of plywood, an Arduino Uno, microphone, and 8 little lasers, which you can see flickering on and off every now and again. Okay, so there are 8 little lasers, and the idea was that I turn the laser on for different notes. So all you're doing is you're trying to pick up what note's being played, and then switch on the laser that corresponds to that note. So I have an A, a B, a C, a D, an F, a G, and other A. Actually, it starts from C, because it's music, isn't it? So I mean, you can probably just about see, if I whistle, can't whistle nicely, but you can see the high-pitched stuff is at the bottom, low-pitched stuff is at the top. So as you go up, down through the octave, the light which is shining changes. Okay, so that was my aim, and the harp you pluck a string in it. Sounds like a reasonably pure tone, but it turns out that actually it's really not very pure at all, and the sound you get out of it, there's all sorts of harmonics and vibrations and stuff. But it's actually also quite handy for mounting things on. It has useful little sticky out bits so I can stick things on it and it just sort of plops on there, so that's quite useful. I originally tried with shining lasers up inside the sound box because I thought I could light the string up, use the string like a fibre optic and light the string up from the inside and have it glow. And I bought these lasers on eBay and I tried it, and it made about the bottom 1.5 inches of the string light up, unless you had all the lights off and you sat there in the dark with a towel over your head, and then you could see maybe 4 inches of the string light up. So that didn't quite have the desired effect. So I thought, no, I'll try shining, and I messed about a bit, and I came up with this idea of shining them on the string. Just about see, it shines the lasers down, the laser hits the string, and then the string partially reflects and partially refracts the light, and you end up with these sort of ovals projected onto the soundboard. Right. See, it turns them into ovals, so you get little rings instead of just the light lighting up. So that was kind of fun. What's the kit? So basically there's an Arduino Uno, which uses a single analog input from a really cheap microphone and preamplifier. It's a really, really cheap. It was £2.87 plus 50p delivery. Screen here if you want to have a look. And they're on there still on eBay, so they're really cheap. You can just plug that straight into an analog output and you get a 0 to 5 volt swing, which gives you quite a nice way of getting the sound into the Uno for a little effort. I bought a pack of 8 laser modules, these little tiny things that are glued in here. $7.99 plus $1.50 postage packing for a pack of 5, so I bought 2 packs of those and gave the other 2 away to a friend of mine. They were cheap. And then I stole a load of code off the internet, which I'm sure none of you ever do for any of your projects, and I would never have done for any of my projects at all, ever. But openmusiclabs.com was quite a cool website at the time. It sort of died a little bit since I first started playing around with this, but they have some really nice bits of Arduino code on there, and really nicely commented, and actually works really well. The first time I played around with this, it was for the previous versions of the IDE, and actually if you download it now, they haven't updated it to the new version of the Arduino IDE, so if you do mess around with it, there's a couple of, if you try and you can't get it going, let me know. There's like 2 lines that you have to edit in their library to make it work, but it still works. It's pretty cool. And basically, so let's fast forward. This is the technical bit. We have to have a bit. Fourier transform. Basically, all Fourier transform is doing is taking sound signal coming in. So sound is a bunch of waves. Different frequencies are different spaces between the tops of the waves. High frequency stuff goes like that. Low frequency stuff goes like this. Okay, so if you're speaking low, it's like this, and if it's squeaky, then it's like together. So you look at the analog input membrane of the microphone. So at high frequencies, membrane of the microphone is going bang, 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 bang really quickly. So you get big changes in numbers really close together. At low frequencies, it's going more slowly, so you get little changes. We'll get changes that are less frequently coming in. Fourier transform doesn't really matter how it works. It's quite clever though. If you look it up, it's really interesting. Basically, all that does is to take this sequence of sound over time and turn it, instead of into a sequence of sound over time, it just pulls out all the frequencies. So it tells you how much of each frequency there is. So you put a chunk of numbers that you're getting in from your microphone into an array, you pass it into the Fourier transform, and it gives you out an array that's the same size, but is instead frequency instead of time along the bottom, along the array that you pass in. So things on the left-hand end are at 0 end, a low frequency. Things at the 1024 end or the big end are high frequency. And so all I'm doing in my code is passing a bunch of data that I've read in from the analog line into the Fourier transform library. It gives me an array back. I then go through that array, and I look for the highest peak. When I find the highest peak, I say, that's the note that's being played, that's the dominant frequency at the moment, and that just lets me decide which laser to light up. So it's a really simple bit of code. If anyone wants to see it, oh, I haven't got my laptop with me, email me. So yeah, basically I used it just as it is, and it works really well. So the little amplifier is just powered directly from the Arduino, straight in from A0. The lasers are driven from standard GPIO pins, draw about 15 milliamps each, so you have to be a little bit careful about not switching too many on at once, because if you do, then the Arduino reboots. I think if you did it enough, you'd probably blow the Arduino up, but I haven't done that yet. 3 at a time seems to work okay. 8 at a time certainly doesn't work okay. But what you can do if you want more than one on is you just turn them on for short periods of time. So you pulse width modulate the laser. So you turn one on, then the next on, then the next on. Because you're doing it really fast, it looks like all 3 are on anyway. So you can actually get away with that. Yeah, so that's what I did with the code. It's just a really simple case statement which goes through looking up which peaks are highest to decide which note's being plucked. And I just did that by playing notes at it, looking at the output from the Arduino to see what the peak frequencies were. So the problem with a harp is you probably notice, I'm not going to hold it up for long because it's bloody heavy, but most of the time if I'm talking or there's background noise, get these big circles at the bottom. Very rarely get the ones that are high up here. Okay, and that's, I think, basically because when you put the sound, put some energy into the harp framework, it all ends up as low frequency because the dynamics of the wood and everything are a bit weird. But if you play squeaky stuff at it, it works much better. So if you want to play a quick tune. So if you play a whistle at it, well, that's actually a fife, but the whistles and fifes and wind instruments like that have really nice pure tones. So you get really nice high frequencies and low frequencies changes. So if you put on whistle acts on it. So you get once you play the high bits, it works its way up to this end. You get the smaller circles, whereas you hardly ever get that out of the harp. When you pluck the harp strings, it's almost all. Sorry, out of tune. It's horrible, but it's almost all down the bottom end, and you only get the high bits when you play the really squeaky things that are even all that out of tune. So the harp doesn't really work very well the way I was hoping it would, but it was kind of a nice idea. The thing I should do next, what I should really do, I never did it properly, was to properly tune Fourier transform, work out exactly what the frequencies were. I never really did that properly. And I could do that just by messing about, or I could do it by thinking about it. I suspect I won't get around to doing it at all, but I could, I'm honest. Also, the microphone, electronic microphones are a bit weird. They're not very linear. So if you've got stuff that's loud at a low frequency, they respond much better than stuff that's loud at a high frequency. So trying to sort of calibrate that somehow, and instead of just looking for the highest peak, doing some scaling as you went through the frequencies to work out which peak was more dominant. That might mean you could pick out the high frequencies a bit better. Yeah, my laser mounting system is extremely subtle, as you can see. It was a slab of plywood that was lying around the shed floor with some holes drilled in it. I then lit all the lasers up one by one and epoxied them into the holes, which means they're completely unadjustable. And getting them lined up to the strings, to actually hit the strings in the right place, took about 6 hours and was a real pain in the backside. So having some better way of doing that would be quite fun. And if you were going to do it to a whole big harp, which would be much more fun, much more impressive, you'd need to do something better than blobs of epoxy and pieces of fibre. And I could put a box around it, but then you wouldn't see all the wires hanging out, it wouldn't be too much fun. That's it, thank you. Questions? Comments?
Can you have some actuators so that Sophie can play and the harp can play a counterpoint?
Yeah, well, I'd love to do that. So I'd really like to make things to play themselves. And you could, but it'd be a lot of engineering. You'd end up reinventing the harpsichord. Work careful, which is what Jim said. I don't like the sound of the harp too much, so I think if you were going to do it, I'd do it with another kind of instrument. I like Dave Price's organ thing. What I really like is a set of organ pipes, and you play something high pitched, and then the organ pipes boom in. I think that'd be really cool. Any more? Thank you.
So our last presentation before our break will be from Amanda. This is interesting, most exciting. Give them your small sticker, that's the big sticker. And the big sticker, don't forget to give the CS252 competition. Has everyone played those games? Either here or earlier? Yeah, so you have an idea of what live. Okay, that'll be interesting.
Also about Arduinos, except this is the wearable kind of Arduinos. So I got involved in this who was doing some crowdsourcing so that she could buy all needed to do a Girl Guides workshop, to get Girl Guides coding, and she thought it'd be fun to do that with wearable Arduinos. And after crowdsourcing that, I was like, oh, what's this? And then I went into looking at how much that costs, and well, I'd like to play with those. And so I got myself a Gemma, which is an Arduino with little holes in so you can sew it into your clothes, and NeoPixels, which are just LEDs, but they're quite powerful LEDs, and a battery. And this is the setup that produces, and that was like, yay, I can make a light up, but there's not much more I can do with that, because the Gemma's just too small. So it's cheap enough that you can give it to a whole room of Girl Guides and not care if they break it. That's great, but it's too small to add other things like sensors. So if you're going to have LEDs lighting up, you want them to light up on different behavior, don't you? So then I moved on to Flora, which is the bigger sister of the Gemma. The Flora costs about £20, depending on where you get it from. An accelerometer, which seems ridiculously expensive for what it is, but there you go. Some more NeoPixels, because I've given away the rest of the ones I bought before. Case to hold some bigger batteries, and some steel thread. So the idea with these wearables is that you can buy this thread, which sort of looks a bit like thread, and sew it, and it's conductive. So instead of wiring and soldering, you just sew thread from one connection to another connection. Steel thread is really awful to work with. So I could get them like that, but I was lazy and bought a kit, which is a bit more expensive, but then you get a box and you get other things. I got a light sensor as well, extra clips. The other thing you need for a sewable project is obviously fabric, tape measure, needle, pins, stuff like that. So then I got my Flora, that's the big disc here, and the accelerometer, and sewed using the steel thread, the ground, the 3 volts, and the 2 data pins. So it sort of hangs together and stays on the fabric. This is the back. This shows how awful sewing with that thread is. It's so stiff that tying a knot or doing any tight connection, it just springs out again. And so you end up having to secure it with lots of nail varnish is what they recommend. And it seems to work okay, nail varnish. I mean, it's not glue, but you know, it's cheap and it's easy. And then you have to be so careful because fabric moves all the time, everywhere. You have to be so careful not to make loose connections and not to make shorts. So every time I forget to snip off an end bit, it's like, oh no, there's the end of my project, I've burnt something. And if you have a loose connection that lies across the chip from the power source, whoa, you get burning straight away. So yeah, there's the Flora, there's the accelerometer, then I sketch out where I want my LEDs to go, and here's where I want my LEDs to go. And then I want a nice big sort of power bus that's going to take the power through all the LEDs. So line up a load of threads and zigzag stitch over the threads to hold them down. Then you can start putting the LEDs in place and running the data connection in and out of each of the LEDs. And hey, they light up. Success. So as you can see in the top corner there, a battery pack, which is basically a plastic box that holds 3 AAA batteries, which is fine, but it's quite heavy and quite bulky. So that wasn't very good for testing. As soon as you move anything, all the fabric falls all over the place, and you go, oh no, short circuits and everything. So then I bought a slimmer battery. This one costs £10, but you can get cheaper ones, and I've learned that the cheaper ones will do the job as well, just not as long. And I made a battery pocket. And I sewed up the edges to look a bit smarter. And then the code. So if any of you haven't yet tried Arduino programming, there's a really nice environment for coding in, and it's just basically C. So you get to initialize your LEDs, and you get to initialize your accelerometer, and then you get to read data, and then there's an equivalent to print via a serial connection, which is your USB connection on your laptop. So that's all quite easy. If you want to do it afterwards, the instructions for the Flora and Gemma, and there's loads of good videos and loads of good PDFs with lots of pictures and everything at www.adafruit.com. Buying stuff, there's loads available on eBay, but 2 of the other sites I've used are Phenoptics and Fortronics, which both seem to sell lots of stuff for Raspberry Pi and Arduino. And it's all cheap enough just to play with. Yeah, that's the end of my presentation. But this is what I made. So it's attached to my leg, so hopefully it's going to tell me, the accelerometer is going to be measuring things in X, Y, and Z. I don't actually know if this is X, Y, and Z or which planes they're in. But I programmed it to say that whichever of X and Y and Z is the larger, in terms of the accelerometer response, is going to light up blue or green or red. And I can't at the moment remember which one I put with which, because I've only just got it working today. More than that, it's just broken now in the break, and Marcus had to run over and solder my battery for me. But anyway, switch it on. So currently blue. So I don't know if you can see if I'm walking. Is it still blue? Yeah. Green. Green. So if I'm dancing, is it all right? Still green?
Yeah.
I think I need to work on the thresholds and stuff. I've literally only set them today, so I have no idea where to set them. Blue while I'm standing still, obviously. So I've got also a box of stuff, so if anyone wants to see what's involved in this, come and find me in the break next and play with it. Thank you. Any questions?
So have you got some time delay stuff in there, because it's taking a while to build up the thresholds.
Yeah, however, I've got all sorts of time delays that I need to take out now that it's working. I put the time delays in for the testing, and then it wasn't working, so I do it longer so that I could see when it really worked, and now I want it a lot shorter. No, actually the accelerometer has been the most reliable thing on here, so I'm easily getting values out of the accelerometer. And I don't have it very far away, so I've deliberately put things quite close. It's true that the conductive thread is very resistive, so if you have loads and loads of it, it's just going to be too much resistance to work. So you have to keep things quite close together, or put lots and lots of thread so there's more bus size to work.
Thank you.
So I think it's the first time we're not even on time. there's still food and drink, so eat a bit more, drink a bit more, play the games, 252, and vote for the best game. Also vote for the best thing generally. I haven't mentioned already, there are 2 kinds of stickers, large and small. Some of you may have large stickers even though they're not technically small, they're large. Imagine they're small. Okay, so we'll probably reconvene at about 6:45, and then we'll give away the prizes and see who won what. Oh, the other thing is, the BCS are obviously very important. They're the ones who have funded us this evening and let us do this, and that's great. I think this is the 6th time we've done this now, and that's excellent. And one of the reasons we can do that is because we get fantastic feedback from everyone. So there's a box there for comments, praise, and suggestions. There's also some scrap paper, so just write something. You know, let us know if you're having a good time, a bad time, what you change, what you might add. Let us know, that's really useful, and it helps us continue doing it. And lastly, make sure you're signed in if you haven't signed in. Okay, thank you, and we'll come back in about 15-20 minutes.
Are you going to get another pair so that when we dance, it's got, you know, you've got another one on the other?
Well, this is just a prototype. It'd be nice to have lights the whole way round so it's easy to see and have both legs as well. And if it's a nice like Mark was saying with the courier control, I'd like to be able to dance to music and then have the Arduino kind of be a minute for me rather than
That would be nice.
should be able to notice the change.
But that would be dependent on you hitting certain beats.
Yeah, you do generally.
Yeah, I suppose. I think it's brilliant. That is great. That's really cool. The wearable stuff is great. I've been so impressed. There's so much of it as well. It's so easy to get hold of.
You really want one of those ones? Well, you couldn't want to but even that would take if you only have black and small, and you can have one of the great big ones that use to do things like okay, so now jump up and down.
It's got a delay though, so.
Oh, some blue.
Well, that's what City brings
all the delays out now.
the brain to Tuesday night sometimes. That's a good test. There you go. as you move around the floor, it might, depending where the start. How does it calculate the starting point in terms of like X and Y and Z?
I haven't read it yet.
Just does it.
Yes, so all I've managed to do is hook it up, connect it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
No,
Find out what the numbers are. I don't even know what the range of possible numbers that it's given me are. I don't know what maximum and minimum are, so I haven't been able to do anything with the actual
well, it's great. It's really good, but of course it's the thing. Now you sort of get the process working to go really nicely. I think it's very nice. Sound and music, I've realised, is definitely where my flaws are with technology. The fact that I always get super interested and I don't do a lot with them because they're so mind-bendingly complicated. Working on like suddenly, oh, how do you calculate bit rate? That's actually the same noises coming out. It's perfectly ordinary. No, but that's cool. Well, I just have a whole thing that's, you can just do as a hobby at the end of
Hello, I've been a warning. Please give your votes to the people that you're voting for, or stick your stickers on the things behind the games if you're voting for game. 5 minutes to choose who gets the prizes.
One last very final shout out to both of the games for CS252. So give away your stickers. Also vote for whoever should get the ultimate yarn. That's quite a nice prize. It'll be interesting to see who wins and who does it. The other thing is, please make sure you make a comment. There's some scrap paper, pens, any comments good, positive feedback, criticisms, we'll take it all, it's really useful. So vote now and we'll continue in a minute.
Might get a free roll for myself. I'm disappointed you're not going on. I went last year.
It's working exactly.
There was an alert on the screen just now saying that the phone battery is low.
Oh, that's my phone. It's quite good. I always wanted to do a show and tell presentation about this app. If this, then that. It links every API. Almost every API. Every other API. So there's an Android API. So I can say if the Android API says my battery is tell me. So it links everything to it. I always I wasn't sure if it was just me being different times. So yeah.
Was it you?
Yes.
You were snoring. Were you in your shoes?
Sorry?
Surprises that you got.
So make sure you've given your stickers away. If anyone's given you a sticker, or more than one sticker, count them so you know how many you've got. We can figure out who's won the prizes.
Okay. For the best game contest for client-side graphics programming for the web, we've got, normally I just have 2 prizes, first and second place, which I buy at CK's on my way to work. But it's because someone's turned up with some Google swag this time, let's buy the prizes and we've got 3 of them. So, first prize goes to Sean Griffith, who's not actually here. Because he's not actually here, he doesn't get to choose his prize, we choose it for him, and we'll leave it behind the office door for him. Sean's game, Larry's box, very good, very professional, really like it. So he's going to get a nice box of chocolates, a Google thing, and a Google thing. I should put those behind the office control. Second place, who is here, so he actually gets to choose his prize out of the chocolate wine combo. And surprisingly, Tom went for wine. Tom White, so right, here. On the wine, Google thing, Google thing. Tom invented the web dev drinking game, so I'm not surprised he went for wine. So, third prize goes to, Ben. Goes to Ben. Ben Cooper for the excellent 2-headed snake game. He gets a Google thing. Again, that will be behind the office.
Okay, great. It's exciting. Right. So finally, the normal prize that we have. You should have all given away your small stickers, unless it's a large sticker. Last time. Okay, so let's do a simple count. Who has 1 sticker? Hands up if you have 1 sticker. At least 1 sticker. 1 sticker or more. Okay, 2 stickers or more. 3 stickers or more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're dropping off. Alright, are you the only one with 11? Sarah, once again? Yeah, okay. So you've won the Andrew again?
They're lying.
Sorry?
They're lying.
They're lying?
They're lying. It's all lying.
Recounting.
Who got 10?
I give you notice on the game.
Who got 10 or more? Because we have some consolation prizes. You guys, okay, come here and claim your prize then. So, is this going on sale bot? Will you use it?
Yes, thank you very much.
Congratulations. To those who got 10 or more, we have Google things. If you'd like to come and collect one, they're like consolation prizes. They're quite nice. Good books. Hardback. Very nice.
Thank you very much.
And lastly, thank you to, well, everyone who came, everyone who set up, everyone who's going to help clear up. Thanks, Sam, for bringing all the swag and stuff that Google didn't want and trying to get rid of. I think it's been well appreciated, and we have 2 t-shirts left. And yeah, thank you all for coming. Thank you to the BCS for paying for it.
Thank you to Johnny for
Yeah.
organising.
Thank you for organising.
Don't forget to leave your feedback so that we can tell the BCS committee how great it was and how we should do it again.
Are we going to a pub, Jonathan?
Probably. If people want to go to a pub, yeah? I think follow Hannah to the nearest pub. So, thank you, and thank you to our YouTube viewers who I think number about 3. If you do want to stay and help out, putting things in bins is the easiest way. Putting chairs back to the best way you remember them is also very helpful. Okay, thank you. Oh, and congratulations on everyone who handed in their dissertation. If anyone's going to make more, have fun.